Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment as the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft has come to an end and the Tennessee Titans have selected Northwestern offensive tackle, maybe will now convert to offensive guard, Peter Skoronski with the 11th overall pick. Now, this is something that not only I, but plenty of people have mocked throughout this process. When it became clear that Peter Skoronski, who was really being mocked as a top 8 prospect, let's say within the collegiate season, would fall a little bit outside of that as teams reviewing him much more of a guard because he does have, less than 33-inch arms. If you watch his tape, he's not necessarily physically imposing at the left tackle position. And, you saw some of his combine results. You could see this guy translate a lot more to guard. You could see him falling despite being, and this is something that I don't think many people disagree with, without a doubt, the most technically sound offensive lineman coming out of this draft. But the question is, how much do you value the guard position? Now, I won't go as far as to say as some people that, he will be a Hall of Fame guard. I know some people that have gone as far as to say that. Yeah, I won't go that far, but I feel very comfortable saying, and it will depend on the success of this team because it's hard to be a Pro Bowler if your team's not successful. But assuming that this team is successful, I would expect for Peter Skoronski to one day be a Pro Bowl guard and to definitely, at the very least, be an above-average starter for this team and someone that we can 100% rely upon, which is something I haven't said at the guard position for a while. Nate Davis was good. He's going to be better than Nate Davis. Nate Davis, at times he was actually, quite good. He's going to be better than Nate Davis. He's going to be the best thing we've had at guard for a while. Saffold peaked, a little bit early. At that point, by the time he got to us, he was late. He's going to be very good. He allowed 1 sack this whole year and I think it was only like 3 or 4 hurries too. The whole year and maybe 5 pressures. Incredible pass blocker. Just absolutely technically sound. He went up against some impressive pass rushers like Lucas Van Ness and some other, impressive talent. Now, he wasn't like Darnell Wright, who actually shut down like a Will Anderson. Didn't quite do that, but was very honorable in his own right. So overall, I give this pick an A-. The only reason why it's not an A is I still would have preferred Jackson Smith and Jigba because we're now in a position to where we have to take a wide receiver in the second round. And this is the way it was going to work if we took an offensive lineman in the first round or any other position who I don't trust. And that's my problem. I don't trust these day 2 or even day 3 wide receivers at all. I don't trust them at all. I have guys that I like more than others. I like Cedric Tillman. I like Jonathan Mingo, even in the second round, and even at 41. And I know for Cedric Tillman that sounds high. Not for me. I think it works, and I think the only reason he's going to go that low is because he got hurt. If he didn't get hurt, to me it would have been a lower first-round pick in this year's draft, but he got hurt. And I like him more than Jalen Hyatt, by the way. Hyatt, I'm okay on. Josh Downs, I'm okay on. Tank Dell, I'm not that high on. And the problem is, I can't even definitively tell you, outside of Downs and Mingo, whether or not any of these guys are going to go in the second or the third, because it's debatable. So if you're telling me that it's debatable whether or not Marvin Mims or A.T. Perry or Rashee Rice or some of these guys are even going to go in the second, well, then how can I feel comfortable taking them at 41, which is early in the second? Now, we're not going to have much of a choice because at this point, we have to take a wide receiver. We have no choice. You have to take wide receiver at some point. But Hyatt's going to go second. Down's going to go second. I think Mingo. We'll see about Tillman. And I'm sure there's going to be 1 or 2 more. Maybe Tyler Scott, maybe Marvin Mims, maybe Tank Dell. They all could be there when we pick it in the third round too. I don't know. But those are the guys that people are mixed on. Jaden Reed, Michael Wilson, some more of these. There's just a bunch of guys. And I think at this point, temper expectations for all of these guys. I think whatever guy that we draft in the second or third, and I'm assuming that we will, maybe that's an assumption. I'm assuming that we will. Expect a Tajay Sharp type rookie year. 500 yards, and maybe just because they're the only other wide receiver we have, he could get more, 6, 7, maybe even 800, because someone has to catch the football for us. I mean, it has to be someone. We're hoping Burks is a 1,000-yard wide receiver. We're hoping Chico Conko 600, 700-yard tight end. What else do we have? We have literally nothing else. This is the worst wide receiver core in the league. And it was sad because I was thinking in the middle of this, in the first round, could we trade back up for Jack Smith-Njigba because he was falling? And then, boom, there went Jack Smith-Njigba. Boom, there went Quentin Johnson. Boom, there went Zay Flowers. Boom, there went Jordan Addison. Now, luckily, Hyatt didn't go yet. Downs didn't go yet, even though I'm not that high on Downs. And, Tillman, he didn't go yet either. I don't care which one of them we get at 41. I don't love any of them, particularly except for Tillman and Mingo. I would take one of them. That's just my opinion. But yeah, let's address, though, the elephant in the room, and that is CJ Stroud. Because the rumors were true, and I've been on this since the beginning. I've been on this since December. I've been on this before even the Jaguars game. I say you lose this game because it presents you with an opportunity to potentially trade up to the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pick, whatever, and get us out of this quarterback hell that we find ourselves in with Ryan Tannehill. That opportunity was so close to being there, and it was real. And the Houston Texans took it away as they took CJ Stroud at number 2. So I can't blame Grant Carthon for that. The only thing I can blame him is, if you loved him that much, maybe you should have traded up to number 1. And we'll see how his career goes. Personally, we'll see if the Texans are able to, have talent around him. We'll see if the Texans are able to, be functional around him. God knows I don't trust that franchise. And funny enough, he has the same agent that Deshaun Watson has. So guess what? If he ends up being unhappy, it's not going to shock me at all if he asks for a trade and he's no longer there, right? So that's something that I would anticipate potentially happening down the road. But I think he's going to have success in Houston and hopefully not too much success. And how about Houston? Now, and then they trade up from number 12 to number 3. They take Will Anderson, so they're resetting their franchise with CJ Stroud and Will Anderson in our division. Right after the Jaguars reset their franchise with Trevor Lawrence, and now they have this resurgence going on in Jacksonville. And I look at our team, and you know what? Look, I think we're not going to do anything crazy tomorrow. I don't think. I would get rid of Tannehill if you could. Just start Willis or something. Because it's just, what's the point? It's over. And I don't want to be negative tonight. Skoronski's going to do well. What's the point? This whole offseason, and I'm not even a casual. I'm very much so someone that, you guys know this, is deep into building the team the right way and whatnot. But how can you go through this offseason and explain to some of your casual friends, so what did the Titans do this offseason? Whose jersey can I buy? You can buy Andre Dillard. Who? Arden Key, Aziz Al-Shaair, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Peter Skoronski. These are all fine names. I'm not saying that these are bad players. That's our whole offseason. We lost Nate Davis. We released Bud Dupree. We had to for financial. I'm not saying that we didn't have to. We released Bud Dupree. We asked Kevin Byard for a pay cut. My God. We released Taylor Lewan. How did this team get better? It didn't get better on paper. It didn't get better in terms of excitement. It didn't get... we can still draft well in rounds 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. Do we have a 4 now? 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. But is there anything outside of you just find a superstar, just a budding superstar that I'm not anticipating? And maybe a Tillman is that, maybe a Mingo is that, maybe a Darnell Washington, the tight end out of Georgia is that, who's still available and I'm fine taking at 41. Maybe a Tucker Kraft, the tight end North Dakota State. Maybe find some, a diamond in the rough. You find your Aladdin. I'm going to be there. I'm going to watch this team. I'm going to support this team. I'm going to make content about this team. Our whole off season, we added Andre Dillard, Aziz Al-Shir, Arden Key, Sean Murphy Bunting, Jack Gibbons, Sean Clifford, the tight end Trevon Wesco, and Peter Skoronski. That's not selling tickets to anybody. That's the whole off season. So, look, trade Tannehill. I don't want to trade Henry because I still want him to get over $10,000 for this franchise, and I think we can lose games with it. But what a nothing off season. We got to call it what it is. What a nothing. Skoronski was a good pick. I just wanted us at the end of the first round to do something exciting. And now here comes day 2. And there's a couple of things that we can do outside of what I mentioned, and it's quarterback. Will Levis is still available. Now, let's discuss that briefly. Personally, because I am not that big of a fan of Will Levis, I would still prefer to just wait until next year. But I had a second round grade on Will Levis, and now it's the second round. And we still don't have a quarterback. So, if Will Levis somehow ends up with a Tennessee Titan tomorrow, I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to love it. I'm not going to give it an A. I'm going to give it a B. He had first round talent, third round production and play, maybe even fourth round, right? That's why I gave him a second round grade. Hendon Hooker. Is he going to end up a Tennessee Titan tomorrow? Because if you look at the situation and what's going on here, I just don't know what teams are going to take a quarterback. The Raiders, now that it's the second round and they fell in their laps, they absolutely could. The Rams, if they don't have faith in the staff for long term, they absolutely could. The Seahawks still could. But I think one of them is going to be there at 41, man. And then one of them is going to become a Titan. But even Hooker, and I liked Hooker, and I made a video on this. I don't want to sound hypocritical. But even Hooker at this point, if he's there, I'd be like, just because I just know, like, again, I look at this off season, and I know we're not, unless we find some stud, and I hope we find some stud at wide receiver. I just think we still have a ways to go. I'm just like, I don't even know if I just want to do Hooker now or let's just find an elite talent next year. Because I like Hooker. I think he's going to end up being a Dak Prescott, a Kirk Cousins, a longtime starter, and a decent player. Might make a Pro Bowl or two if the year was weak. But I'm just like, now we got Stroud in our division. Anthony Richardson, I think he's going to flame out. I think he's going to, but he's going to make some plays. And then we're going to have Hendon Hooker. And I'm just like, I don't see how Hendon Hooker is going to be Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, or Anthony Richardson. I just don't see that. I had Richardson as a better prospect than Hooker. So we're still getting the worst of the three picks. Let's say, if this happens, theoretically, of the 3 quarterbacks picked in the AFC South this year, we're getting the worst. In the last 3 years, we're getting the worst. We're getting the worst. So even Hooker doesn't excite me anymore. If we get him at 41, I'll be happy. He's a good pick. He deserved to be picked, around that range. But I'm not going to say, okay, all problems are solved. We have the worst quarterback in the AFC South. Until those guys show me different, we have the worst quarterback in the AFC South. Now, if we take Hooker, I mean, right now, Tannehill is still better than Richardson, let's say. We'll see if he's better than Stroud next year. I assume he will be, but I don't know for long. Maybe one more year on that. So that's frustrating. This is not how I wanted today to go. I wanted at least one of these stupid teams in the Colts or the Texans to take Will Levis. And they didn't. If one of them would have took Will Levis, I said, okay, at least one of them has a bust. And again, I think Richardson is going to end up being a bust, and then we'll see what the Texans do if they're still a disaster as a franchise and they're not able to really solidify a good team around CJ Stroud and he ends up failing over there. It's only possible. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. but we're either leaving tomorrow with no quarterback or the worst quarterback in the AFC South. And a wide receiver talent that I'm not sure I'm going to love. Maybe a tight end talent that I love, and that's it. So for the whole offseason, there's going to be 2 players that I love that we got. Because I didn't love any of our free agents. They're nice signings. I don't love them. There's nothing to love about Arden Key. Unless if you're just a pass-rushing nerd. There's nothing to love about Azeez Al-Shir. I think it's going to be good. There's nothing to love about any of these guys. You just hope they come in and they play well. You don't even know. They're not going to make the Pro Bowl. So we got no potential Pro Bowlers except for Skoronski. And then maybe one of these gems. And that's it. That's our whole offseason. Wow. The whole offseason. We'll see who we get. And then we'll do our deep analysis and deep dive. So I'll answer a couple of comments and I'll get out of here because I've been live streaming now for about 5 hours. So, yeah, it's my voice can only take so much. All right, so we're going to begin with Omar Nawabi, who says the following. Says, let me update that. There we go. Who says the following? He says, that sports for entertainment, do you think the Titans should entertain trading up to get Levis? If not, who should they take in the second round? I don't know if I trade up for him. He could be there at 41. So just wait for him to be there at 41 to make your decision. Again, I'm not going to hate it. If they take him, I'm not going to hate it. The only thing I hate about it is it just takes us out of next year. But the one thing I'll say, though, if we take Levis in the second, you can still move off him after a year. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, the Cardinals took Josh Rosen in the first. The Panthers, when they took Cam Newton, they had taken Colt McCoy the previous year in the second round themselves. You can move off of a second round pick. Now, it's not a good look because you just took Malik Willis in the third. So you're going to take Malik Willis in the third and then Will Levis in the second. And then the next year you're going to take Shedeur Sanders in the first. It's like, wow, you guys are taking a lot of picks on a quarterback. Well, you got to find one. So that's why we're doing it. But I don't know if I trade up, but if he's there at 41 and we take him, I'm giving it a B. I'm telling you guys right now, I'm giving it a B because that's the grade I had him. And if that's where I didn't think it was possible, but if that's what happens, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. All right. I'll address a couple more comments. D Davis 24 says, what about Jalen Hyatt? And look, I'm very mixed on Jalen Hyatt. He's going to run some things vertically in the slant and the slot. And, just some verticals and some screens, and that's it. He's going to get like 600 yards. He's going to have like some nice plays, but he's not a complete wide receiver at this point, and that does not excite me for this offense because we needed a complete wide receiver. And there are some that you can still get, but there's not many. There certainly is not many. But if he gets his potential, he could be a Will Fuller, but this offense needs much more than a Will Fuller. Like, it needs a complete wide receiver opposite of Terrell Burks, and then it needs a Will Fuller. So Jalen Hyatt would be our number 3. He would be our number 2 on the depth chart, but he'd be a number 3. Omar Nawabi says, who do you think won the first round? A lot of people are going to say Eagles. I don't think Jalen Carter is going to perform at the next level. I think he's a bust waiting to happen. So that's what I believe. He has Isaiah Wilson written all over him. He's lazy. He didn't show up for his damn pro day in shape. It's ridiculous. It's preposterous. So that's all I need to know about him. By the way, Nate Autoworks also asked the same thing. But if I had to say who won, you got to say the Texans. you got to be honest. To get Stroud and Anderson, this is the first time I can remember. I'm sure it's maybe happened before that the team had 2 picks in the first, 2 picks in the first 3 picks. It's ridiculous. It's preposterous. It's crazy. People had CJ Stroud as their best, quarterback, and a lot of people have Will Anderson as their best defender. They just got them both. They have John Mechie still waiting in the wings. Oh, man. The Texans might be better than us next year. I don't know. They're still going to be rookies, but quickly, very, very quickly, God knows we could use a Will Anderson and CJ Stroud type duo in Tennessee right now. I don't want to be too negative here tonight. I know I'm being kind of negative, but yeah, what did we do this offseason? Okay, Avery L says, would you take a Lance trade at some point tomorrow? I mean, for if it's cheap, if it's for a third and less, yeah. And then just try it. I mean, you got to try something. I mean, trying out Tannehill again next season, it's so preposterous. It's so insane. You might as well trade for Hopkins then and just say F it, although you can't fit him under the cap at this point. Because at least you could sell us that maybe this is going to work and we're actually trying. I don't know what we're doing other than just peddling water. So it's a little frustrating at this point, but it is what it is. All right, a couple more. And then we'll get out of here. Jonathan Martinez says, are you guys taking for Caleb next year? I mean, until we bench Tannehill and, do something like that, trade him, no. We're trying to win 5-6 games. I don't know why. And I don't know why Mike Vrabel thinks he has this long of a leash. Maybe he does. But to me, if we tanked next year and we kept him, it's fine. We tanked. No one would care. It'd be like whenever the Colts tanked with Jim Caldwell. Although I think they fired him. No, they did fire him. Never mind. It wouldn't be like that. It'd be like whenever the Bucs, I think they tanked with Lovey. Yeah, like when the Bucs tanked with Lovey the first time around. It'd be like that. Or when we tanked with Ken Whisenhunt. I don't know if he has that leash. But I think that's better than if we try and we just win 5 games. I mean, I think you thought fans were checking out this year. If we're 4-8, or maybe even worse than that, 3-9, who the hell is going to be going to these games to watch who? I guess still Derrick Henry if he's healthy at that point in the season. It's lunacy. It's crazy to trot out the same team with just a couple of Band-Aids. And I know we almost tried for Stroud, and that was the plan, and it just didn't work out. But there needs to be a backup plan because this is not going to be good enough. I mean, I'm just telling you, it's just this is not moving the needle. All right, Jack Longley says, Carlon mentioned he was not selling for worse player positions of need when better players available. Sanford lives by that. Maybe we're sold on a defensive player. Oh, it could happen. I mean, Joey Porter's falling. We could take him. Some other defensive players are falling. I wouldn't hate it if we take best player available, but wow. The wide receivers, I mean, they're going to be bad anyway. Like, I'm already just conceding that whoever we draft in the second or third round wide receiver, I'm not going to have expectations for. I just hope they come in and get 500 yards. And then I'll be happy about that. The only one I have expectations for is Traylon Burks, and he's going to get volume. And hopefully he's healthy. Guys, our wide receivers can't even stay healthy. I mean, forget about producing. They can't even stay healthy. Burks can't even stay healthy. He's going to have to catch 1,200 yards. He can't even stay on the field. The way this roster is constructed. And we went through free agency, and I was fine not getting a free agent wide receiver because, we're going to draft one. Well, you should have got somebody because, I mean, Richie James just signed for $1 million. He had about 500 yards last year. Get him. I mean, Jarvis Landry's still out there, so there's going to be some sort of more Band-Aids that we can put on. But wow, and look, I'd be fine again if we go full tank. Let's go full tank, but let's admit it and let's just do it. That way, I could be like, "F it, this is what we're doing," and I understand it. And not quite. All right, so with that said, that's gonna do it for me tonight. So here's the plan: I'm gonna be back tomorrow midday for my first round grades for the 2023 NFL Draft. Afterwards, I will be doing live streams after our pick in round 2 and round 3. And then Saturday or Sunday, one of the two, I'll be back to recap day 3. I might have to wait for Sunday for that because I have some plans Saturday night. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get that one in. I'm going to try my best, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. Twitter at the MJ Take on Twitter. So maybe not what we hope to see, but it is what we saw. Still Titans fans to the death, and we'll see what happens next time. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.